The Power of CoQ10. You like the title of that? Just happens to coincide with our Power Q. Power Q, CoQ10. But CoQ10 is powerful. It has been for a long time. It's been around. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the history of CoQ10 and where it came from, and it's probably going to surprise you. But CoQ10, you've heard it a lot. I'm sure it's not new to most of you, but I'm sure a lot of you don't really take it every day. You know, you hear about so many other nutrients, antioxidants included, and we say, wow, what should we be taking every day? What should be the staple? I'm going to tell you, at one point in time, if someone would have asked me, if you could have only one nutrient on a desert island, what would it be? And I would have said CoQ10. I still might, because I get a lot of vitamin D if I was on a desert island. So I might not need that. But DMG's right up there too. Okay, but CoQ10, the alpha enzyme. You know, some of you have seen some of my other presentations, and I talk about the alpha nutrient. I talk about the alpha vitamin, okay, vitamin D, things like that. And that means the best, the top of the line, the thing that you can't live without. And with CoQ10, it's absolutely vital to life, okay? It's basically, we have trillions of cells. CoQ10 is what keeps them running. CoQ10, Coenzyme Q10 is in every single cell of the body. No cell in your body can live without CoQ10. If it loses CoQ10, the cell dies. That's important because cellular death is the precursor to all degenerative diseases, including aging and death. If the cell dies, the body follows, okay? CoQ10 is that important. There. Now, we know there's antioxidants, there's lots of them, but there are 5 super antioxidants, a name given to them because they do what no other antioxidant can do, and CoQ10 is one of them. So we're going to go through that in a little bit. It's a gene activator. What does that mean? That means when you have enzymatic activity in the cells where they have to perform some sort of metabolic function, whether that function is for energy production, whether that function is to start immune system production of macrophage and killer cell activity. These are all chemical reactions in the body, and the activator, the switch that turns on those functions, is CoQ10. Okay? The highest levels of CoQ10, serum CoQ10, if you took tests in your body, would be in your heart, your lungs, your liver, and your brain. All vital organs, right? All organs related to certain disease states. Obviously heart and all sorts of heart disease. Liver, diabetes, okay? Liver cancer, liver diabetes. The brain disorders like Parkinsons, Alzheimer's, even ALS. Absolutely. But the highest levels are in those 4 systems, okay? And if any of you have the opportunity to come, and I'm going to talk a little bit about Parkinson's today, but tomorrow, if you have the opportunity to come back, I'm going to have a special guest. My presentation tomorrow is on Parkinson's. And the presentation is going to center around natural therapies. You know, Parkinson's has been in the news a lot lately, right? I mean, we've seen what it's done to Muhammad Ali, you know, the greatest of all time. We've seen what it's done to Michael J. Fox, okay? Now I hear it's Linda Ronstadt doesn't sing anymore because of it. They even said that Robin Williams found out he was suffering from it, right? He took his own life. But none of them went through the natural approaches. They all did the drugs. Well, I'm going to bring a guest in here tomorrow who was diagnosed with Parkinson's 19 years ago. 19 years ago. And for the last 15 years has been on a nutritional protocol, no drugs at all. A complete nutritional protocol that involves CoQ10 and 3 other nutrients. And to this day, she is symptom-free. And when a Parkinson's patient goes for their yearly checkup or biannual checkup, they do a series of tests to see if there's any progression to the disease, motor skill tests. Well, hers have actually gotten better instead of worse. Okay? So if you get a chance, you want to come in, you can meet living proof that there is a natural treatment for Parkinson's. I'm not going to say it cures it, but I can say that it stops the progression of it. This is living proof. That's tomorrow. Okay, so you know, this phrase, show me the science. Oh, I love that phrase. Because that's what I get a lot of times. Not as much anymore, but I've been doing this, working with doctors all over the United States for the last 20 years. And the one thing that I heard more than anything else when I tried to talk to them about nutritional protocols is, show me the science. Why? Because they're so, trained from the pharmaceutical industry that nothing works unless there's studies, like the drugs that they prescribe. Of course, the drugs work perfectly, right, for all diseases. Sure, they work for everybody perfectly. There's absolutely, no harm. Yeah, the drugs have no problems, no direct effects, no side effects. Oh, sure, they have plenty of side effects. You hear that on the commercials. And they do lots of harm. But still, that was the mantra, show me the science. And many times, I would say to them, you mean the science that passed drugs like Vioxx and Celebrex and Fen that killed about 60, 80,000 people? Because if that's the kind of science you're looking for, I don't have any of that. My science doesn't show that we killed anybody. Okay? But the science is there with CoQ10. To date, there are more than 4,000 scientific studies and dozens of conferences dedicated exclusively to coenzyme Q10. That's a lot of studies. Okay? What did it show? Well, just as we started to talk about, it helps in disease prevention and it slows down the aging process. Why does it slow down the aging process? It halts cellular death. Cellular death's the beginning of the aging process. Okay? CoQ10 halts cellular death. Obviously, heart disease, hypertension, everything that goes along with heart disease is helped by coenzyme Q10. Everything. Okay? We know that. We know that that so-called disease, high cholesterol, should never even be there, but it's accentuated and it's antagonized by the very drug that's given for it because it stops the production of the cholesterol in your liver, but that same chemical pathway produces coenzyme Q10. So the very thing you need to fuel your heart, to keep your heart muscle running, the very thing you need to prevent cellular death is destroyed by the drug that's supposed to keep your cholesterol down. We could go on and on about that, but we'll move. Energy, vitality, well, think about it. If CoQ10 is the activator in the mitochondria, which is the powerhouse, the engine of the cell, if that's the activator to bring energy into it, what's the side effect? What's the positive side effect? The PSE is energy, okay? Energy and vitality. As we age, we make less and less and less because we do make CoQ10, okay? It's indigenous, we make it. But I'm going to show you how it stops, where it stops, when it stops, and why you have to supplement with it. Immune system fortification. I mean, it just, if it shows these studies, these are all the results of these 4,000 studies, okay? These are not opinions. These are results of these studies. It enhances energy and vitality. It enhances your immune system fortification, which means producing macrophage, killer cell activity. It counters the effects of the statins because what are the side effects of the statins? No energy, right? Pain, where? In your legs. Why? Because the legs are the biggest muscles on the body, which means they require the most energy. So you take that energy source away and you get pain, right? It counters those effects. And improvement of brain disorders, including Parkinson's, okay? Now, let's talk about where this all started. In 1957, this PhD, this biochemist, Fred Crane, and anytime I see PhD in biochemist or physicist these days, I can't help but think, you know, Big Bang, Dr. Cooper, Sheldon Cooper, all those guys. They just make me laugh. But this guy was working on beef hearts, trying to find the missing connection between how energy is produced and where it comes from in the cell, in the mitochondria. While he was going through all his studies, working on the hearts of cattle, he found this yellowish substance. And it's kind of funny because, you know, you think about when you see CoQ10 supplements, they're all yellow, right? Or they should be, because CoQ10 is yellow. They found this yellowish substance. So they identified it as a quinone, which is an organic compound, something inherent, natural, indigenous to your body. So they sent a sample of it to another PhD, Dr. Folkers. So this guy studies it even more, and he finds that not only is it involved in energy production, but he actually finds that it's ubiquitous, which means everywhere, right? So in other words, it's in every cell of the body. That's when they found this out, 1957. That's how they settled on the name Ubiquinone for CoQ10. The original name for Coenzyme Q10 was Ubiquinone. So further work determined that it was a coenzyme, not just a quinone, but a coenzyme. Now that's a vitamin-like substance. What do vitamins do? They trigger a response in the body. Vitamin triggers a chemical reaction, okay? Well, coenzymes do the same thing. They contribute and trigger chemical reactions as well. The chemical reaction CoQ10 is responsible for energy, bioenergy, which is energy in the cell, okay? Then in 1972, they found that heart patients of all types had deficiencies of CoQ10. All heart disease patients had deficiencies, major deficiencies of CoQ10. So now they're starting to put it all together, okay? And then, something unheard of, in 1978, another PhD, another biochemist, actually won the Nobel Prize for Chemistry with his work on energy, cellular energy production, and CoQ10. So this is a nutrient that, show me the science, could do that all day long. You've got 4,000 studies, you've got dozens of conferences, you've got a Nobel Prize for biochemistry centered around this nutrient, Coenzyme Q10. Is it important? Major mechanism in the biochemical energy process. All that means is you can't live without it. You want it dumbed down, reduced to ridiculous, you can't live without CoQ10, okay? If every cell in the body produces CoQ10, why are we so deficient? Lots of reasons. Here's the main ones, okay? Our diet. Well, we know what problems there are in our diet. And if one of the main sources of CoQ10 is beef, and we're eating beef that's, I don't even want to say, it's far inferior to anything that we should be eating, unless you're eating grass-fed beef. You're not getting the B6, B12, B3, B2, the pantothenic acid that you need to make CoQ10. Those are the precursors in your body. All of the B vitamins and L-tyrosine. And you can only get that in a certain source in your food. Many foods that contain CoQ10 we're only going to make about 30 milligrams. But even to get that, look what you have to eat. A pound of sardines. Now, I like sardines. Okay? Well, how many ounces are in those little cans? 3 ounces. Okay? So, a pound of sardines. That's a lot of sardines. And that's every day. Okay? 2 pounds of beef, and it has to be organic or you're not getting anything. But 2 pounds of beef. Beef, chicken, and pork hearts. How many eat hearts lately? They're loaded with CoQ10. Make sure they're from grass-fed animals. Okay? 2.5 pounds of peanuts. Now, 2.5 pounds of peanuts, remember, that's not in the shell. Okay? That's a lot of peanuts. But these are your major sources of CoQ10 in our diet. We just can't get it from our diet, folks. Like anything else, we have to supplement with it. So why are we deficient? Well, there's other reasons besides our diet. The aging factor. Look at this. CoQ10 production slows down at the age of 20. I don't see any 20-year-olds in here. Yeah, I forgot, right. 20 plus 20 plus 20. With an accelerated drop after the age of 40. Okay? I see a few of us might be over 40 in here. Present company included. Extreme physical exertion. Now that's up there for a reason, because one of the most common methods of exercise over the last 10 to 20 years is cardio. Not just cardio, but long distance cardio. Running for an hour. Why would you run for an hour anywhere, anytime, any place? And don't even get me started on marathon runners. Okay? They're out of their minds. They have no clue the damage they're doing to their bodies. Nobody needs to run for hours. But any type of extreme physical exertion depletes CoQ10. Okay? Hypothyroidism, accelerated thyroid hormone production depletes it. Okay? And of course, statin drug use. Lots of things deplete CoQ10. But not just statin drugs. Just about any drug, pharmaceutical drug, depletes 2 things above everything else. And that's CoQ10 and your B vitamins. Wait a minute. B vitamins? Hold on a second. That's what we needed to make CoQ10, right? So you got a double whammy there with pharmaceutical medication. Now, we talked about it being one of the super antioxidants, and this is why. There are 5 of them. Coenzyme Q10, alpha-lipoic acid, vitamin C, vitamin E, and glutathione. Now, vitamin C and E we don't make, okay, as humans. CoQ10 we make very little. Alpha-lipoic we do make. We synthesize from our food. Glutathione we do make. Okay, so most of these you have to get through supplementation because you can't get them from your food anymore. But these 5 have the ability to regenerate each other. So let's talk about what an antioxidant does. You hear that term all the time, right? And you hear the term free radical all the time. What the heck does it mean? Well, free radical is a cell in your body that's run rampant, that's in a disease state, that's degenerative, and it's lost an electron in its outer shell. So it goes after other cells to get that. It attacks other cells. It wants to become whole again. So when it does that, it creates a chain reaction of destruction. What an antioxidant does is it stops that by donating that electron. So it stops that destruction. But most antioxidants, when they donate that electron, then become a free radical themselves. But when you have these 5 in your body, they stop that chain. They can donate without losing. Okay? They can regenerate their electrons. They don't lose theirs. So therefore, when you have antioxidant capacity that's centered around these 5 antioxidants, you can stop the damage from free radicals. That's why they're super antioxidants. Okay? Also, CoQ10 is really effective in protecting the oxidation of low-density lipoproteins. What are those? LDL, what everybody tells you is the bad cholesterol, right? I'm of the opinion that that's a bunch of baloney too. There's no such thing as good cholesterol and bad cholesterol. There's just cholesterol. This is a way to do tests. This is a way to sell drugs. There is no bad cholesterol. How can you say that, Joe? Well, it's simple. Because the cholesterol molecule comes out of the liver, then it's transported into the bloodstream by a lipoprotein, a fat-soluble protein. Lipo's fat. There's a lipoprotein that transfers it out of the liver. There's another one that transfers it back in to be excreted out of the body. Those are your LDL and HDL numbers. They are both attached to the cholesterol molecule. They are not cholesterol themselves. This is propaganda to sell drugs. I just went off on a little tangent. Sorry about that. But that's the real cause. When the LDL, when those low-density lipoproteins oxidize, they turn to plaque. Okay? That's why the whole theory, absolutely the whole theory of cholesterol modification is false. It's a myth. Because nobody, not you, not you, not you, makes more cholesterol than you need. None of you. None of us. Some of us are in a state of vitamin deficiency, and the cholesterol, the low-density cholesterol, oxidizes and turns to plaque. That's when serum levels go up on your test results. Okay? So don't be fooled. CoQ10 and aging. Well, after everything we've been talking about, it makes sense, doesn't it? The cell lives, we live. The cell dies, we start to die. CoQ10 keeps the life of the cell going. Okay? It enables the cells to replicate. It stops defective cells from replicating. That's destruction. That's the degenerative process in the cellular level. CoQ10 stops that. Okay. Now, let's talk a little bit about Parkinson's. Okay, Parkinson's is believed to be caused by a combination of biochemical defects, including free radical damage. One of the biggest contributors to Parkinson's is free radical damage, what we've just been talking about, okay? Free radical damage and mitochondrial DNA mutation. This all comes as a result of the cell dying prematurely, okay? DNA mutation, free radical damage, destroy the cells in the brain. Remember early on I told you that one of the key organs for high serum levels of CoQ10 was the brain, along with the heart, lungs, and liver. Okay? Now, when this happens, when it destroys these brain cells, you can't make dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter that enables you, one of the effects of dopamine is enable you to move properly, easily, smoothly. Okay? That's one of the effects of Parkinson's, isn't it? Movement. Uncontrolled movement, prohibitive movement. So this is the cause. But now they believe that energy consumption plays a large part in the progression of this disease. Energy consumption means you're using more cellular energy than you can make. What's at the heart of making cellular energy? CoQ10. Okay? There were studies, okay? Massachusetts General Hospital, Dr. Beal. There was also an Italian research study that they demonstrated CoQ10 protects against the degradation of energy, which leads to cells leading to cellular death. Nerve cells. Nerve cells. These are the cells that are affecting the Parkinson's patients. Okay? So, blood levels of CoQ10, lower they were, higher level of degradation. Okay? Higher the levels of CoQ10, the lower the level of degradation of brain cells. They determined that CoQ10 supplementation could significantly reduce the damage and restore energy production in the mitochondria. Okay, now that's very, very important because I told you earlier about the Parkinson's patient who has stopped the onslaught of this disease. Okay? And this is why. The energy production in the mitochondria that we have been able to develop and generate because of the nutritional protocol that she's on. Now, I don't have, this isn't my protocol. I'm not taking credit for it. All I know is I delivered it. This protocol was designed by physicians, and I just gave it to her, and she's been on it ever since. And she'll never go off of it. What are the other benefits of CoQ10? Well, all of the brain disorders, okay? All of them. Huntington's. Now, that's the ability to reason, think, talk. Oh, wait a minute. They should call that the political disease, don't you think? Ability to reason, talk, think, and walk. Okay, but Huntington's, yeah, it helps with that. It helps with gum disease. Now, anybody, I'm sure you've heard that before, right? Gum disease. Why do you think it helps with gum disease? Cellular energy regeneration. Okay, stopping the degradation of the cell, increasing the life of the cell. Okay, gum disease. Immune system production, we talked about that already. Macrophage, killer cell activity, help you fight off invaders. Even tumor regression, they have found in some cancer patients. Tumor regression, okay? Shrinkage, tumor shrinkage. Diabetes, it normalizes blood insulin levels. So diabetic patients are very, very, very low in serum levels of CoQ10. Remember, one of the organs we said was affected primarily, the liver, okay? Very important for diabetes patients. All of the heart-related, angina, hypertension, stroke prevention, all of these things affected by CoQ10. Now, as I said earlier, there's even research, not just with Parkinson's, but with Alzheimer's and ALS. Okay? So this is so vital a nutrient that they're actually studying it for some of these major debilitating diseases. Chronic fatigue syndrome. Well, listen to them. What is chronic fatigue syndrome? That you're chronically tired with no energy. Well, now you know why. Because there's no production of CoQ10. The cells aren't producing energy. The cells are dying prematurely. Chronic fatigue syndrome. So how much should you be taking? Okay, well, this has gone up over the years. It used to be 30 to 60 milligrams a day for general health. No, I don't think so. We destroy way too much CoQ10 for that to happen. General health, 100 milligrams a day. Now, what does that mean, general health? Well, that means if you're eating a good, healthy diet, that means if you're exercising regularly, that means you're not eating any crap, you're eliminating processed foods, you don't have a lot of sugar in your diet, you don't eat a lot of fast foods, you're not eating a lot of you're not eating any microwave food. If you're doing all that, if you're doing all the right things right, you need about 100 milligrams a day. So what I'm going to get to here is that there isn't a single person in this room that doesn't need CoQ10. Okay? Because even if you're at the height, remember, you stop making it. Age 20, it slows down. Age 40, it's done. You don't make it anymore. That's why they say, oh, you're just getting old. It's normal. It isn't normal. It's not normal. Everybody has to age, but we don't have to get old. You like that? You can have that one. Steal that one. All right? Heart disease prevention, minimum 200 milligrams a day for prevention. That means if you have a risk factor, whether it's hereditary or it's you, if you have a risk factor, 200 milligrams a day. If you already have it, then you're probably on a drug. I'd be up around 400. But if you already have it, 200 to 400 milligrams a day. 200 to 400 milligrams a day. Brain disorders are 400 to 600 milligrams a day. Brain disorder treatment, 600 to 1,200 milligrams a day. Now, you look at some of those numbers, you think those are pretty high, right? But there's ways you can do it. For example, this product, PowerQ600, okay? This combines two phenomenal nutrients, CoQ10 and DMG. We know the benefits of DMG. Somebody brought that up earlier, right? But the point is you get 300 milligrams each in one chewable tablet. One chewable tablet. So chewing 4 of them a day would get you to 1,200 milligrams. That's not hard to do, okay? It's not a pill you got to swallow. It's easy to take. Just chew it. It tastes good. Not only is it easy to take, not only does it taste good, but because of it's chewable, then it gets directly into the bloodstream. Bypasses the digestive system, doesn't have to go through the liver. It goes right into the bloodstream. Okay? This is the product that has enabled my aunt, the person I told you about with Parkinson's, to keep up her regimen because she takes 1,200 milligrams of CoQ10 every day. Okay? 1,200 milligrams. I'll just give you her protocol right now. It's 1,200 milligrams of CoQ10. It's 4 to 6 grams of omega-3s daily. 4 to 6 grams, not hundreds of milligrams, but grams of omega-3s, okay? She also takes the DMG now, so that's been added in through this product. So she gets 1,200 of DMG, and she gets 200 milligrams of glutathione, but it is compounded by a compounding pharmacy, and it's intravenous. Sometimes it's cream, sometimes it's powder, but she gets it from a compounded pharmacy because glutathione has been, over the years, very hard to get into your body orally, very hard to get into the system, through your digestive system. So the injectable was better, and it's compounded. But there is some new research coming in on glutathione that attaching it to a liposomal delivery, which is a fat-soluble delivery, is getting better penetration into the cells. So that's something to keep an eye on. We'll be talking about that in the future. But that's her protocol, and that's the protocol that has kept her symptom-free for the last 15 years. If you get a chance to come here tomorrow at 1 o'clock, you can meet her in person. The real thing, the living thing. I'm telling you, this is not just studies. This is actual living proof. Okay? So there's lots of ways to get CoQ10. If you don't like chewables, you can get a soft gel. The Ubiquinone form is much better in a soft gel. The Ubiquinone form is much better in a chewable. Okay? Because with the chewable delivery, you don't need fat. See, CoQ10 is a fat-soluble nutrient. But in the chewable delivery, you don't need fat because the saliva is actually it makes it water miscible, which means it's the carrier to get it into the cell. So it doesn't become water soluble like water soluble vitamins, but it becomes water miscible, which means it has the transport mechanism to get into the cell. So the chewable is great. That's the one I like. That's the one I use. And of course, you can get chewable in either 100 milligrams or the Power Q600, which is 300 of CoQ10, 300 of dimethylglycine.
What about the liquid?
Liquid, any liquid is good. If you can get a CoQ10 in a liquid, yeah. Yeah, well, I don't know if I don't know. I'd have to look at it.
Yeah.
Costco?
Yeah, I've seen it everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Who makes it?
I saw two.
Yeah.
It's Q and
Q and all? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't have a lot of confidence in getting nutrients from mass market suppliers. You know, for certain reasons. You never know.
But then it's in your local supermarket, drugstore.
Yeah, I know. I mean, just the point is,
Only buy it on TV.
the due diligence, who's doing it?
Yeah.
Okay? The due diligence on these products are done by the staff. Okay? They visit the factories. They know where it's being made. They know that the GMPs are being followed. They know all of the regulations are being followed because they do that for you. You don't have the time, the effort, the ability, or the means to do that. So you shouldn't trust.
Drug reps are the ones that inform the doctors.
Well, no, there's no drug reps here.
No, I know. I'm saying.
Yeah. But I mean,
So what are they going to say?
well, I'm talking about buying at Costco as opposed to buying here. There's nobody at Costco doing due diligence, okay? Not like this. They're just buying it and they put it on the shelf because it has to sit there for years. So there's a factor with absorbability, and there's a factor with how long the shelf stability is. I just don't like mass market nutrients, okay? I want them to be physician designed, physician guaranteed. And I'm not talking about MDs that are not knowledgeable. I'm talking about people like you have here that know how to do the due diligence. Yes, sir.
How would you set the quantity that you take? So like, say you want to take for 100 milligrams daily. Out of them balls, what would you use? One?
Well, out of these, then I would go with the 100 milligram and then chew 4 of those throughout the day. Okay? Or you could do this. There's 300 in each tablet.
So that's
So-
over too high already.
Yeah. You can't take too much.
Yeah, but as I say, if that's 300
Mm-hmm.
and you only need 100,
Then you go with this one, 100 milligram.
Yeah, 300 milligrams. There's 600 milligrams.
Hey, what's that?
Quesadillas, huh?
Is there a relationship between the Q10 and vitamin D?
A relationship. No, they're both fat-soluble nutrients, but they do completely different things. You mean bad? No, good? No, they do completely different things. Completely different things, yes.
Could you take that instead of this rad-free, this tissue damage thing? Could you take that instead of rad-free that has a grape seed in it? Can you take that instead to help that tissue damage that shows up on the test?
It's an antioxidant, so it's going to work for that to that degree, for that to that end result, but it won't work. But rad-free is designed specifically for that.
For tissue damage?
Yes. Attaboy. Oh man, where you been?
Oh, man, I'm tied up.
You ready for that push-up contest yet?
Yeah,
No. Yes, ma'am.
I can do twice my age.
Where in the stage of progressive Parkinson's can this be helpful?
Anywhere.
Anywhere?
Yes.
Even
Because
progress?
yes, because it will stop from further. It'll slow down further progression. You know what I mean? It can never hurt. It'll never hurt. It'll only help in any stage. The earlier, the better. Okay? The earlier it's caught, the better. Yes, ma'am.
What options are there for people who can't take CoQ10 because of being on blood thinners?
Who said that?
I said, what options are there for people who can't take CoQ10
Because
of being on a blood thinner?
there is no reason that you can't.
I tried it through here, and my blood count goes, my INR goes crazy.
CoQ10 is contributing to thinning your blood. Well, that's news to me. I have never heard of that happening. CoQ10 is not a blood thinner. It doesn't affect viscosity one way or another. So that's a very interesting situation. I don't know. My first reaction would be to get on a natural blood thinner like nattokinase and off of the drug with your doctor, of course, and then you'll be able to do more nutrients. Because remember, blood thinners, they interfere with nutrients. Nutrients don't interfere with blood thinners. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Astaxanthin, does that help with,
Astaxanthin is another antioxidant, good for heart health, eye health, skin health, yes. There's lots of antioxidants, but some are very specific in what they do, like CoQ10. Okay? Any other questions? Okay, folks, thank you very much.